The Menu.
Good evening.
The Menu is a 2022 dark comedy that is in theaters as we speak, so it looks like you're gonna have to go out into the sun to watch this one. Since this is a new movie, I won't spoil it for all of you in the beginning, and once you've had your fill of what I have to say, then I'll end this review with sweet spoilers. So, let's get spooky. The Menu focuses on a group of people dining at an exclusive restaurant located on its own private island. The main focus will be on Tyler, a foodie fanatic, and his date Margot, who represents normal people in this movie. Also on this trip is Lillian Bloom, a famous food critic, and her whipped companion Ted, Richard and Anne, an extremely wealthy couple, John Leguizamo as the has-been movie star. I swear they say his name in this movie, but everywhere I looked, he only was credited as movie star. Man, you have come a long way, my friend.
I like to party with my peeps, cruising cream, playing 3-car money on these crazy streets.
And his assistant Felicity, and the trio Bryce, Soren, and Dave, who are the rich do-you-know-who-we-are businessmen. And of course there is Chef Slowik, who seems to have upgraded his taste buds recently. I went into this movie thinking it was going to be a thriller, and I went in pretty blind because I avoided all trailers, so I thought this was going to be a thriller about a restaurant that tricks you into eating people, but it's not that kind of movie, which is good because Fresh came out this year, and don't get me wrong, that's a good movie, but that was a quirky cannibal kind of movie, and I thought The Menu was going to go the classy route, but there's only one man who can do that, and he will never be topped. I love coming up with any excuse to talk about Hannibal on this channel. The Menu is a dark comedy, so be open to the humor that is going to serenade your ears as your eyes dive deep into what it's like when the servers have had enough trying to satisfy the unsatisfiable. I wouldn't say it's the funniest dark comedy that I've seen, but it's got some good lines in it. The food looks good, there is a nice variety in the characters, and I'm glad they didn't go with the cannibal route. Don't get me wrong, I love eating people. What?
You intend me to be my own Last Supper?
Yes.
Anyways, the movie also knows how to finish with a nice, impactful ending that leaves you with the feels. You know what kind.
Who's hungry?
This isn't a super violent or bloody movie, so it's more of a thriller with some humor than anything else. Go see the movie. I think it's worth your time. Now we move on to the dessert, or the spoiler section, so if you're too full after the main course, here's my response.
You are gonna finish your dessert, and you are gonna like it!
So the movie starts off with Tyler and Margot and the other groups waiting for the boat to take them to the island, and they get served a mini foamy seafood dish with just a hint of lemon.
How does it taste? Like how I would imagine cum tastes.
So they get to the island, and you could imagine how much money goes into the restaurant, and each person pays like $12.50 for a single 8-course meal. Course 1 is more seafood, which is more of a decoration than a meal. Course 2, the bread that isn't even bread. This is such a weird dish, and it just really flexes how pompous high-end dining can be. And even though the food critics would gobble up this kind of bullshit, there's still room for them to bitch, and it just goes to show you that food critics can go fuck themselves. At course 2, the business guys ask for some actual bread, and they pull the "do you know who we are" line, and the server just looks them dead in the eye and says, "No." Oh, I bet that felt good. Course 3, memory. This is the first moment in the movie where we get the impression that the restaurant has a hidden agenda with these laser images cut into their tortillas because the dish is tacos. It's personal when the chef tells them a story about him stabbing his father in the leg to save his mom, and each plate gets a big piece of thigh meat with a tiny little pair of scissors stuck into it, which I hope is just for decoration because those things are going to be fucking useless when it comes to cutting meat. It's the kind of tiny little scissors that you use for like your fingernails or something. Course 4, the mess. Okay, so this is probably the best course out of the whole evening because it looks like it would actually fill you up a little. Oh, and a dude kills himself before everyone gets served, which, I mean, I don't know about you, but I'd just be more hungry after seeing that. Course 5 is a cleansing palette tea, which I guess could count as a course, but I feel like that's kind of cheating. Course 6, man's folly. So the men are given a chance to run away and are given a 45-second head start, but they're all caught insanely easy, which is kind of unbelievable unless the island really is that small. I guess it symbolizes women get chased, and even though they don't want to be and can be caught against their will. The reason behind this is because the cook who came up with the dish says the main chef kept on trying to bang her and she kept on turning him away. And then she stabs him in the leg. They don't go outright and say he forced himself on her, but if the chase is pure symbolism, I think it implies that he eventually did. Oh, and the ladies are served a crab dish while the men are gone. Course 7, Tyler's bullshit. Okay, this is a pretty funny name, but when he was making the dish, I did feel a little bad for him, but it explains why he was there. Not only is he a piece of shit for hiring Margot to be his date to die, but he is a pretender. He's just a foodie that just consumes and consumes other people's dishes, but he doesn't even know how to cook for himself, which eventually drives him to kill himself in the end. One of the business guys is given a birthday cake, and it's kind of funny because, of course, these would be the kinds of guys who would lie about that to get a free cake. But it bugged me that no one tried it. I mean, you all know that you're going to die. Might as well enjoy yourselves. Let's talk about the ending. I really liked it. I really like the reason the movie star is there is because he's an artist who's lost his art, and then it gets undercut a little bit. Because his assistant is going to die because she went to Brown without student loans. It's not like a laugh out loud funny moment, and at first I didn't even get it, but I guess it's another example of someone being a taker and not a giver. And then we have the very rich couple who were there 11 times out of the year, but they couldn't even remember a single dish that they actually had prior. And the main chef even says, like, some people would be even lucky to eat there once, but they just come here month after month, and they don't even really appreciate any of it. And then, of course, I mean, the business guys are there because they are part of the company that own the chef, and they're just they're pieces of shit in general. They were lying about their bank statements to really puff themselves up. Everyone who's there isn't just like a higher end, like an upper class kind of person. They're all different examples of people who are takers, and I really like that about the movie. It wasn't just a upper class against the lower class. The movie has a lot more thought into it than just that. Another part I really liked about the ending is Margot calling the chef out for not making the food with love and that she's starving. The chef might be a depressed psycho, but at heart, he's still a chef, and he doesn't just care about the quality of his food, he also cares about feeding his customers. And her asking for a real cheeseburger, calling back to the picture of him that we saw at his cabin, he was grilling burgers, he was happy, and he was employee of the month. He said that he will make her a cheeseburger like it would be the first cheeseburger she's ever had. And judging by what we saw, I believe it. That burger looked damn good. And when she asked for it to go, he lets her go. Not only did I like the ending because it hit me right in the feels. Yes, I have feelings. I'm not always a monster. But logically, it seemed like it was her best chance to get out of there. And going off of everything that we have seen up to this point, it made sense to me that this would actually work. Course 8, s'mores. Okay, it's pretty humorous that the last course of one of the most expensive meals in the world ends in fucking s'mores, and the people themselves are the s'mores with their marshmallow jackets and their chocolate hats. Yeah, I like this movie and I'd watch it again. At the time I wrote this review, Rotten Tomatoes critics gave it a 90 and the audiences gave it an 81. I'm gonna lean more towards the audiences with this one. I did like it, but since it is a dark comedy, I do have to judge the humor, and it's not the funniest dark comedy out there. When I think back on this movie, I don't remember the laughing moments more than the dread, art, or emotion of the movie. And if someone wanted to watch a dark comedy, this wouldn't be at the top of my list of suggestions. I would throw this on if someone said they wanted to watch a thriller or something that really wasn't that scary. Thank you all for watching, and stay spooky.